Hi everybody, welcome to my top 50 games of all time. A list I've compiled over tons of extensive research. I've had teams in here to help me sort through and decide what I consider the top 50 games out of my kabillion games that I have. And if you believe that, then I guess you believe in the Easter Bunny too. Well, then again, maybe we all believe in the Easter Bunny more than Santa. I don't know. But anyways, this has been a lot of fun, and right now we are from 30 to 21, so we're at the midpoint. So we're going to start picking out some of those games that are going to kind of stand out. So without further ado, let's keep the countdown going. Wow, I sounded like Casey Kasem. Pretty cool. At number 30. Now this one has a special, they all have, this whole top 50 has a special place for me, some more than some not. But this one particularly, I got this, it was when I started getting back into gaming in the early 2000s, along with the original Descent. I've always kept my collections, but the thing was we moved, and you know, everything stayed packed up in boxes, and then I started unboxing things. This game came out and I really was thrilled with it, and that is Sid Meier's Civilization. Not the newer version, I'm talking about the old box version from the early 2000s. I love this game. The map was huge, a billion components. It was almost a TI-3 type of thing. Some people think it was too long and this, that, and the other. For me, I really enjoyed it. I ended up buying a second copy from a very dear friend. A friend of his, he was giving it away. He was selling it in a flea market, and he really had a tough time parting with it, and the reason being was that it belonged to a friend that was very dear to him, and he had passed away, and he handed this down, and he wanted to go to a good home, and we're better than here, right? You know, and it's over there nice and safe where it belongs, and it'll always be here. So I got 2 copies, but that's okay. I really enjoy that game. So at number 29, this is a newer game, and it's a game I painted like 1,000,000 times, and I just didn't want to play because I painted it so much. I had painted it for the Jack Vassal Memorial auction that happens every year at the Dice Tower, and well, I got sucked into painting 3, then it was 4, then it was 9, then it was 12. I painted this game more than you can ever paint. And then one day, my son Justin decided, hey, Dad, why don't we try this out? And I went, all right, but I'm not painting this. And we ended up playing an unpainted version of Forbidden Stars. And you know what? I really loved the game. You could play it with 2 players, a 4X game with 2 players, and you know, it doesn't have to be this big massive production. It's a game that plays pretty quickly. I really loved it. I loved the whole history of the universe, and for me, I thought it was just a fantastic game, plain and simple. The only thing I wish is that Games Workshop would pick up this game and give us some expansions. We need Necrons, we need Tyranids. It would, if those expansions came out and they decided never to make anything else, I think I would easily move this game up even farther. But for now, in my universe, it's at 29. 28 is kind of funny because everybody knows that one of my favorite games of all time is none other than, yep, Blood Bowl. But there's more to Blood Bowl than just Blood Bowl. Back in the early days, they came out with a box set to complement more or less be an expansion. Not Death Zone, but DungeonBowl. Later on in the Living Rulebook, it became a downloadable expansion, DungeonBowl. I love DungeonBowl. We were able to take our teams and manipulate them in to play DungeonBowl, and we made it a huge competition to the point where we took, I've got a ton of Master Mage, I wanted to make sure I had the name right, that we would build these huge elaborate dungeons with all these evil things in it, and teams would start on four corners trying to get to the ball and trying to score. It was completely fun. It's something we would do quite a few times, and you would think I think maybe this should have been a little higher, but no, I think it's right where it should be, because getting that many people to play an all-day epic of Dungeon Bowl was something else. And if you never heard of it, take a look at the picture here, look it up on BGG, and discover Dungeon Bowl, because I think you can still download the rules someplace. And guess what? If you're tired of Blood Bowl, play some Dungeon Bowl with your friends. A lot of fun. Number 27. Number 27 is a game that surprisingly I caught some heat for because I got the rules wrong, but I had such a blast at it. I had so much fun, even with the rules wrong, that it was one of those games that was a joy to paint. It was a complete joy to play, of course, and once we played the rules right, it was even better, and we played it a few times. And I'm talking about Cthulhu Wars. Oh my God, the huge models, so much fun to paint. The gameplay, superb. This really shot up the charts for me, and at 27 I really enjoy Cthulhu Wars. Someone told me I would like it, and I said nah, because I didn't hear great things about it. But when I played it, I just loved it. I liked the simplicity of it. I liked what it did. I love the huge models. I love the boards. I love now that they have 10,000 different factions, extra boards, all kinds of cool stuff, and that's why it comes in at number 27. Number 26. Well, number 26 goes back some time, and there is a reason for that, because a company called ICE, which did the Middle Earth stuff. I don't know if anybody remembers the Middle Earth card game, which was so cool. As a matter of fact, there's a picture of it right there. There we go. And it was such a great card game because it was the first Middle Earth game, and this is way before the movies. But I really loved what they came out with as far as a sci-fi adventure, and that is Silent Death. They came out with the first box that I ever got was this huge. It wasn't a huge box, but it came with like 48 ships. You can develop your own pilots, a huge hexagon map, and you just had space battles. They had rules for asteroids, for missiles, everything, and we would make our own asteroids, and we would play this game over and over and over and over. Of course, ICE disappeared. Iron Crown Games, excuse me, Iron Crown Entertainment, yeah, that's what it was. They folded up, and this game was never to be heard from. One of my favorite space battle games of all time. I just loved this game, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I actually felt it was better than Full Thrust, which was a great game until they came out with the Phalons, which made you feel kind of weird playing it. And number 25 is a World War II miniature game. Now, there's only two that really exist, and for me I didn't want to put both of them in the top 50 because I just don't. I play one more than the other. Every time I go to one of these wargaming conventions, I somehow find myself playing Bolt Action. Yes, Bolt Action. I love the squad base. I love playing it. I like Flame of War, but it is a little 40K-ish in a way, and I understand where true purists and historians have a problem playing it because it does have that feel. And when you play Bolt Action, you feel a little bit more theme, a little more realism, and not only that, bigger models, beautifully done. The The bridge game is absolutely stunning and weighs 1,000 pounds, which we're going to be doing very soon. Their starter boxes are great. Their components are fantastic. Bolt action, head over heels, in at number 25, which brought us to the halfway point. So now we're on our way to the second half here. This next game has some deep personal meaning to me. When I lived in Connecticut, there was a store called Fathers and Son. It was owned by Gary I never do well pronouncing his last name. Stagano. Very, very nice man. And he was always telling me about Europa. You gotta learn this. And I would go in there, and he was a big war game aficionado, and you know, he carried all kinds of different things and everything like that. But he finally took some time and showed me how to play Case White and then Scorching Earth. But he kept on talking about this one game that was coming, and he couldn't wait for it. And sure enough, it came out. And back then, early 90s, this game was over $200 to get, and that's Second Front. It was massive, huge, overcomplicated. I loved it, and it holds a dear spot because we would take out maps and play little sections of things, and it had everything that you can imagine. The entire Battle of Europe. It was just unbelievable. You know, close to 5,000 counters. Just so much to it, so in depth. I still have it today. I love the game, and every time I look at it, I think of him. He unfortunately had passed away, had a heart attack, and I remember going to a store the day or 2 days before it had happened, and he was there playing with his son, just a simple game. And I remember coming out and getting in the car and just pulling out, because the place was in Manchester, and I had like 45 minutes to go home, but I loved going there. And I remember looking in the window and just watching his son with his knees on his chair, looking and just playing and having fun with his father. And that's what he loved, his son very, very much. He was quirky, he was a lot of things, but he was a good man. And that was the last time I saw him. Turned out that I think everything got pretty much bought out by the time machine back then. Got a first song and dance from his wife, but it was pretty sad all in all. But again, Second Front comes in at 24, in a game that I will always remember and has personal memories. At number 23, let me tell you something. I hate Munchkin. I don't care for Steve Jackson games very much, but I will tell you this. The one game that I do like, and because it's simple, it's quick, it's fun, is Ogre. And I'm not talking the Pocket Edition, because that's where I learned the game. And it wasn't until that monstrosity down there in the corner came out that I went, okay, I'm all in. We love to pull this thing out and play it. I love everything about it. It's huge, it's obnoxious, it's over the top, it's the box is bigger than it needs to be. There's billions of components. It is a labor of love, and because it's fun, it's quick, you can make it as quick as you want or as long as you want. Ogre, the collector's edition, comes in at number 23. And number 22 is a game that I really haven't played much of the second edition. I do like it with the app, but it's the old edition with all the bells and whistles, just like Arkham Horror. And yes, we do have a little bit of a Cthulhu theme here, and that's Mansions of Madness. Boy, is that a lot of fun. Okay, I love the old edition. I like the new edition. I need to play more of it and get more of it. I have it all painted. I have everything there is known to man to have for it. And now with this really, really cool app, I play it by myself. I used to try to play it by myself. The original version, I love it. I kept both versions because I love them both. The original version, of course, you had to have 2 players, but I loved playing it with Justin. I loved playing it with Mimi. She loved it because of the horror theme. So it had a lot of legs for me, and I absolutely loved the game. And thus, I will never get rid of either one of those, and they will stay in that collection for quite some time. At number 21, the last game on this part of the list. Well, it's a game that you wouldn't think I would have here at this juncture, because it's an older game, but it's a game that's probably been duplicated by different themes, but the mechanic stays the same and done better. But for some reason, I really love this game, and that's Stone Age, a work replace game that I just absolutely adore. I have so much fun every time I play it. I never win at it because I don't know when to stop trying to beef up my axe, and I should go get the other things. There's a lot going on with it, and trying to get certain things and some of the plates and things like that, so they all add up together, and so you get all the bonuses. I never do it well, but boy, the time flies when I play that game, and I absolutely love it. It's one of Janice's favorite games as well. She really loves it. Like I said, there are games that just do it better, but to be honest with you, I absolutely adore the game, and that's why it comes in at number 20. Well, are you shocked with anything? Are you perplexed by any of the choices that I made? Have you never heard of some of the choices, or are you just kind of ho-hum, a couple of them in there I kind of expected? Well, our top 20's next, and just looking at our top 20 here, we've got some really interesting games that may catch you off guard and may not, because some of them I think you really kind of expect to be here. Or do you? Do you know who number 1 is? Do you already think you have it figured out? I bet you don't, because I think it's going to catch you off guard. So, there you go. Until the next time, where we should have this up in a few days, depending on the horrific storm that we are facing. But I wanted to make sure that we got this one out to you. So I hope you enjoyed this. Number 30, where do we go? From 30 to 21. It's always catches you off guard. And we're coming into the top 20. One more before we do our live big finish show, where we talk about all 50 and we leave the door wide open for you guys to talk about it. And I announced the top 10 live. So I hope you're looking forward to it. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I enjoyed doing this for you. Until next time, I'm Rob Warren, and I will see you soon. This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.